And I think now, why is this a new thing on Zoom? Like everyone has to agree that they're going to be recorded? Is that there were issues?
Certain states, you have to have two-party consent. So I'm guessing that has to do with it.
That's what happened. Zoom updated. I mean, I've noticed it on a few calls the last couple of weeks, but it's just been weird. Okay, so now that you all know, I'm officially recording you. And I will put this on my YouTube channel later. But anyway, for anyone who doesn't know Helena, I will introduce Helena first because she is who I met first at the lovely American Title Service Agency. Her team can pretty much do anything that you want. So any type of double close, assignment of contract, any weird things that you don't even understand what's going on, just reach out. They're amazing. They answer all my questions. And I love them. So Helena is really in their sales and marketing department, I guess. Is that the best way to describe it?
The account manager, yes.
Yeah, so she's an account manager. She works with all of us investors and pretty much anything that we need as far as flyers for open houses, postcards for mailing. I just got a bunch of gorgeous door hangers. I might have to actually go downstairs and show you guys.
I didn't see them. The box was closed. So
yeah, no, they're gorgeous. I will run downstairs and grab one once we get started. But anyway, so any type of marketing, and then Brian, who she works with, he's always in the background doing a lot of work. He is amazing. He can pull lists. He's so good at doing research and does a million things for them. So with that, I will turn it over to Helena. Helena, you can introduce yourself and say a little bit more and introduce Brian.
So as Marie said, I'm Helena, and actually met Marie on a Facebook post a few years ago, which was kind of weird. I answered a question on a Saturday. We met for breakfast and spent 3 hours at a restaurant. And we talked about a lot of different things, and then the rest is history. But we've worked, I worked with Mia Romaine, and Mia's sister, Corey, who's there. I know she's over there somewhere. Corey actually works at our company also. She's our receptionist and director of first impressions at our Norterra office. I've been in the business I thought about it today, and I think I'm at the 32-year mark, and that's just a long time. But that's serving as title and escrow, working as a real estate professional, a few other things in between. But with American Title for 8 years, and Brian Lavoie, who I will introduce you to now. Brian is the manager for our ownership department. And Brian is a person who creates your farm. And when we call it a farm, we're saying that because we're harvesting the data that's going to be what you use to create your properties that you're going to be purchasing. He's going to go over a little bit of detail in what we can look for, how we can look for it. And please don't ever be afraid to say, this is my perfect type of person that I want to find and the perfect type of property, because we can search. One of the girls in my office calls it her dating site. So if we wanted to find somebody who was between the ages of 40 and 50, was a physician, not married, no kids present in the household, $300,000 a year or more income, 2 properties, 85% equity, Catholic, and subscribes to Field and Stream, we can find that person. So with that, Brian.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, what Helena was touching on is the harvesting of data. We basically like to do that precision type of farming where we just basically narrow in on a particular audience. And doing that, we will remove, for instance, people that recently purchased, because these people just got into a house. A lot of them are not looking to move out. So if you're doing owner occupied, that's one thing you definitely want to remove from your criteria, have that in there. And then we can also do different type of farms, for instance, absentee owners. So with absentee owners, you can go after the tenants, or you can go after the investor. You can do in-state or out of state or out of country. So there's so many different type of criteria that can be used, as well as like equity. If you're looking for properties that are free and clear from mortgages, estimated value in today's market, it's really, really hot. So we basically try to have people do some of their marketing campaigns in waves, because if you collect a lot of data and you can't crunch it in time, you're going to be looking at obsolete data in a month or even in 3 weeks. So it depends on how much data you're pulling, but we always advise in a hot market like today's market, you want to pull somewhere around 250 or 350. That's a really good number to work with, and then do that in waves. So it all depends. Are you doing mailing campaign? If you're doing phone, then obviously you're going to want a larger list. Phone numbers is something we can provide. I send Helena the data, she sends it, and in return we get those phone numbers. And I believe she could get email addresses as well. So there is a lot of
they come up. Yeah.
type of data that we can provide.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you guys can now also do phone numbers and email, you know, when they're
Mhm.
available. That's a really good kind of addition to what I've gotten from you in the past. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's something that's, I mean, once we pull a list, and like what Brian is saying, when we do a list of 250 has been about the norm that we're finding is good for what is manageable for you. But again, everything is changing so rapidly right now,
Right.
that we're trying to update at least every 3 weeks, because that's about isn't that about the trend for how often everything's updated?
Yeah. So
keep,
normally you will get it pretty much every week, a new update in these type of databases that we operate. So the data is frequently changing, and we always want people to try to do that smart strategic marketing. That way you're not just throwing your stuff in an entire subdivision, you're actually collecting the people that you really want to aim for. So
yeah, Brian, do you think that you would be able to share your screen and show us some of the stuff in REI source that people can access?
oh, I don't have I'm actually on my phone right now.
Oh, no.
I didn't know that
Okay.
I didn't know if I was going to be going to the screen or anything.
Oh, no, that's
So
fine.
I'm actually on my phone. Sorry about that. Yeah, the REI source, I can touch on it. I basically kind of remember how everything is set up in there. I've been doing this for about 18 years. So with REI source, I've utilized it for many, many years. And with REI source, you have demographics, and demographics has age. It has owner, business owner. It also has ethnicity. It has the type of mail that you get, occupation. So it gets really, really in depth. And it also has credit cards. It has investments, IRAs, like real estate investors. It has just a whole bunch of stuff. Also loans. So if you wanted a particular type of loan, when it's going to adjust, when it's going to, the maturity date, the loan rate type, interest, there's just so much to it. So we have filters and sub filters within that. And normally we can provide a seat within that application.
And then one thing that we were talking about yesterday isn't it the 30th? Is it the 30th this month that the moratorium's done?
Yeah, so the CARES Act does expire on the 30th.
So that's, I think, going to open up some, I don't know if Brian, what you think, but it's going to open up new foreclosures that are going to be happening, notice of trustee sales.
I don't think Arizona is going to be as impacted as some other states out there. I've been following some of the news on forbearance, and it doesn't seem like Arizona itself has an extremely high forbearance rate. I think MSN just had a thing on forbearance, and they were showing the top states. So right now we're not in a red alert position, but the county has been canceling or moving back some of the foreclosures. I think these foreclosures will return. They will resurrect in a sense, and we're definitely going to see an increase of auctions. But I think that's going to be probably from a month from now when banks decide to start pushing forward.
So we send out a list every week on Thursdays, which has the notice of trustee sale. And it is both for residential and commercial, Maricopa and Pinal counties. And it also includes land as well. And the list, in addition to the notice of trustee sale, we provide for sale by owner, which has phone numbers, and for rent by owner. So the for rent by owner list you could use to find out, if somebody's got a property for rent. If there's multiple people, are they still, that's a position where someone's looking to purchase some rental properties, and maybe an investor has multiple properties that they don't want to hold on to anymore. That's a good list for that, and for anybody who's into property management. But so that list on Thursdays, if you'd like, I can add all of you to that list. I'll just make sure that we have, I'll have Marie send me everybody's information. Okay, perfect, Brooke, thank you. And then that way you can take a look at it. And if there's not a phone number present and you have a certain group that you want to go after, just let me know and I'll get the list pulled for you. But this way you have, you'll have it every Thursday. Keep in mind that there are about 50 people that I send the list to. So it's, I don't know how everyone's handling that or what they're doing with it right now. But for the most part, that list has been this big. I mean, with the amount of foreclosures that are active that are on there, it's just not a big list right now. So that's what we were saying. It's going to not hopefully for the people that are there, but for investment purposes, it'll increase here shortly. Now, by how much, we don't know. I mean, we're kind of in that. But if you're looking for properties that are in a distressed situation, we can also pull, again, through Brian, we can pull specific areas. So if you're choosing a neighborhood that you want to look at, if you have a property that you've already purchased and you want to use that address as your center and then expand from there and look at houses that may be, in the same situation, we can look at neighborhoods by, and I think Brian will agree, subdivision is probably easiest because we can, somebody calls and says, I want to look in Maricopa County. Okay. We need to crunch that number a little bit because Maricopa County is huge. But that's what the filters allow us to do, is just bring that number down for you and truly create something that is refined and exactly what you're looking for. So, it's just, and the best thing to do, and like Roberta, we're going to set up a meeting so that she can talk to Brian about some different properties that we were looking at. But it's best, in the grand scheme, set up an appointment through me with Brian, and then we'll do a Zoom so you can kind of sit down, look at the different filters, and then, bring a wish list and say, here, this is what we would like to look for. This is our ideal property that we would like to have and go after. And with that wish list, we can have Brian create something for you.
Yes.
Yeah, and so anyone who wants to get the emails from Helena, just do me a favor and just drop your email in the chat so then I can make sure to get everybody over to her.
Please.
Brooke, I probably have yours, but do it anyway. It's just easier. It'll be all in one place for me.
And Janet, you're on the list, I think. Marie's on it, Janet's on it. I know I added Roberta. Mia's on the list. Okay.
So,
And you said you focus on, it's just the 2 counties in Arizona that you're currently getting the data for. Is that right? Did I understand that correctly?
So we can give you access to REI source where you can get a seat and actually play around with it. Whatever that you complete, let's just say you build your own farm, you can copy the criteria, send it to us. We will mirror that and then send you the data back. Mind you that this application is a nationwide application, meaning you can farm Florida if you wanted to, or you can farm Texas, but American Title primarily operates in Maricopa County and Pinal County, but we also do Coconino, Yavapai, and Mojave as well.
Okay, that's great. I'm in actually New Mexico, so I'd be interested in farming data in New Mexico, but I'm also building a short-term rental business and have kind of thought about, going outside of my state. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So this
Well-
application will give you the ability to farm New Mexico if you wanted to.
So my recommendation would be when we set up a Zoom meeting with Brian, and if one or two of you want to do it together, that's great also. If a few of you want to get together to do that. But Brian will go through what REI Source does. And then what we'll do is send your email through, and then they'll create a seat for you within that. We have so many that we can do through our REI Source. So once you've done the meeting with Brian, then you kind of have an idea of what the system does. And then you can go through and look on your own. But rather, when we pull it, there's not going to be a cost associated in most cases, unless you get into some really deep, crazy filters. But if you try to pull the information yourself through REI Source, there's a cost. So that's why Brian was saying we can
Yep, there it
pull
is.
something for you. Oh,
So
good.
I
Thank
just-
you, Marie.
I just shared my screen. So for anyone who wants to see what it looks like, I just logged
Yes,
into the account
that's
that they gave me access to. And so
Yeah.
pretty much like we were talking about, I mean, these are all the major tabs, right? So geography, we can go by county. Obviously, you can pick, like they said, any state. There's some few exceptions here, but
Right.
for me, I always do Arizona, Maricopa County, start there. And then as you can see, there's a lot of people that live in Maricopa County, folks. So
Yeah.
I don't need a million people on my list. So then we start, looking at different things. Helena's like, good, I don't want to send you a million people's info anyway. But yeah, I mean, on any one of these, you can figure out like all the loan stuff that he was talking about, how much equity, their loan to value, anything like that. On the property itself, if you have a specific neighborhood that you like and that you like a certain square footage or number of bed baths, any kind of criteria that's in here, they can we can whittle it
In
down.
Maricopa County, I think we can search by room count. Is that correct, Brian?
It's total rooms in Maricopa County is how they assess it. Some states do bedrooms, other states don't. So sometimes you got to play around and see which ones register.
Can we just look at like old homes, like things that were built before the 50s? They're gonna need work. They're gonna need work. We've whittled down the 1.2 million to 34,000, folks. Okay, just saying that we want properties that were built between 1900 and 1950. But there's so many things in here.
Right.
So the demographics really crack me up, actually, the amount of information that you can get here. So
heck yeah.
specific age, credit cards, direct mail. There's a lot of stuff. Do they have a MasterCard or an American Express? I mean, there's ethnicity, gender, education levels,
Yep.
So it's really a matter of figuring out who your ideal client or avatar is. Marital status, single. I like single people that are over 65. Personally, they like to chat on the phone. So if you're cold calling, that's a good list.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they can do everything. And then like Brian said, basically, once you get your list down to whatever you want, you can literally, I think I literally like screenshot this at one point and was like, see these guys? I just want those guys, like this list, and just send him what's coming up in this area. And then they send me the list. So with that.
Thank you for doing that, Liz. Or I mean, Marie, see, look what happens to me. I saw somebody behind you.
There was a little person behind me. You saw that, right?
I thought it was Liz.
So I'm looking for a single male between the age of 30 and 40, makes over 100,000 a year.
And
The properties in an American Express? Okay.
I need him to own multiple properties.
Right.
Construction.
Huh?
That's Sebastian.
Hi, Sebastian.
Hi, Sebastian.
Hola, Sebastián.
Did you hear her? She's at
Hola Sebastián, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, gracias. ¿Y qué estás haciendo en tus vacaciones? That was long. What are you doing on vacation?
We're going to New York.
Oh, nice. Beautiful.
I like how he says that. I'm going to New York.
Okay, so yeah, I'm glad I
Muy
got to
bien.
show you guys. Okay, say adios.
Adiós.
Adiós,
Okay.
chao.
So yeah, I'm glad I got to pull that up. Hopefully that was at least a little helpful so you can kind of see what's on there, but you could play on there for hours. So anyone that needs access to that, definitely, again, reach out to Helena. Helena, you're gonna give everyone your contact info before this is over, right? So that everyone knows how to get in touch with you so they could set up appointments with Brian. Good, I see her typing away. That means she's putting it in the chat. So for anyone that needs, title services and set up with REI Source, and want to follow up Zoom with Brian kind of one-on-one or in small groups, it really is better to do it in small groups because there's just so much in there that it could be overwhelming. So I definitely recommend taking advantage of that. There it is. Okay, Helena's digits are in there, everyone. 480-818-8274. H Donahoe at atsaaz.com.
Donahue, right?
What?
How do you say your last name?
Donahoe?
Is it
Donahoe.
Donahue? Oh, dude, I
Donahoe.
wrote it wrong the
As
whole
my
time.
husband says, do you know ho like gardening?
See, I thought it was Donahue and it was just pronounced weird.
No,
Or spelled
Donahoe.
Or
Yes, that-
spelled weird.
It is
Yeah.
spelled weird. Yeah. No, that's how he tells everybody how to spell it. Do no ho like gardening.
We are still recording, just so you know.
Okay, well, I'm just spelling my last name. You're good.
Yeah, so what else is good for everyone to know about what you guys do? Because I mean, we briefly showed them REI Source. There is the other lists that you do send out on the weekly basis that we talked about. So the notice of trustee sales and all that kind of stuff. So anyone
Yeah.
who wants access to that list for Maricopa and Pinal County, hopefully you put your name in the chat. And then, well, Helena, I think I would like you to talk a little bit more about some of the marketing stuff that you can provide. Like
Okay.
Brooke is about to have an open house on her property. She's got a great little area. She might want to get some postcards out to.
So we have a full service graphics department, and we also have my assistant Emily, who is available to help create your marketing cards. Yeah, we just did one for Mia that we got back, we got printed, and we are using a printer that she's worked with for a while, Preston. And Preston's bomb. Love him. He's doing great. But we can create your door hangers. As Marie said, we have a beautiful door hanger we just created. Any type of postcards. And one of the other girls from our other group, Teresa, we just did some flyers for her. And it was, I found out today at noon that she's doing an open tomorrow at 9 a.m. It helps if we have a little bit of advance notice. But we were able to get it done and finished by 3 o'clock today. And everything's been sent over to print. Yes. And I have another printer that I work with. So I called him and asked him to have everything ready so I can pick it up at 8. So they'll literally tape it to the front door for me. I'll pick it up at 8. We'll be ready to go. But we can create, along with the farm, if you're doing an open house, for instance, and you wanted to look at the people who are, invite the people who are in the neighborhood, we can do what Brian does. It's called a walking farm. So it gives you, it's like a 5-line. It'll show you, who the person is. Are they absentee? Is it an absentee owner property or owner occupied? So you'll be able to see if it's a renter that's potentially living there that may want to purchase in the neighborhood. But that's if you want to invite people throughout the neighborhood itself. But we can create any type of door hanger postcard. We've actually looked into Post-its too. Oh, there's your door hanger. Oh, it did turn out good.
Looks nice.
So we did it English and Spanish.
Smart.
Good.
Beautiful.
They look great. Got Silly Me and Liz on there, of course.
Oh, nice.
but
¿Cómo ahorrar $10,000 al vender su casa? Mira nuestro video gratis.
I just want you to keep reading. It sounds so beautiful when you say
It does.
All right. Mira nuestro video gratis de 4 minutos para ver cómo puedes ahorrar miles de dólares y muchos dolores de cabeza. Visítanos www.lisamary.com.
Oh my God, I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
record that and make like, well, I have the recording of it. I'm gonna take that little audio clip right there and
Yeah.
totally use it. So anyway, but it's in English on the other side. So this is kind of our whole spiel. So yeah, these look amazing. They're good quality. Door hangers, easy to put on. So, oh, that's it. I saw another
And then
little
if,
behind me.
and if you run into something where, the one thing I would like to mention is with Eileen and with Gayla, with our team that we work with in escrow, if you run into a situation, whether the transaction is with our office or whether it's with another company, call. If you have any concerns or something that comes up and you're not sure what's going on, say there's a hiccup, there's something strange that's going on, and you're like, I have no clue what's happening. Pick up the phone and call us, because Eileen has, oh my gosh, I'm going to get in trouble, 45 years of experience, at least with us. I mean, 45 years is a long time, but she can answer. And I think for those of you who have talked to her, she can answer a question about anything, right? I mean, anything.
Yeah,
She's done the transaction. She's done it all. But that way, if you have any questions, even if you're writing up a contract and you're not sure how to word something, or if you don't have a copy of something that you need to create, she's got it. So by all
given
means,
us
call
copies
her.
of assignments of contracts or contracts with a lease back option and all crazy things. So if there's something that you can't already find in the Fortune Builders curriculum, or is, just specific to a property where you're like, how do I do this if I'm going to do it subject to or lease back or this or that, like Eileen has the answers. So they're amazing.
I'll add to that and say that Eileen and her assistant Barb also, I've asked them for things that they don't even have that particular property under contract, and they've been able to give me information that I needed that was complicated, and they're more than happy to do so. So if you have questions that are not they're not even your title rep on that, they'll still go above and beyond and give you information.
Oh, and we stand by that. It's above all else service, and we want to create a service experience, not. And again, even if it's not with our company, we want to create the experience for you that you're purchasing a property, you're doing something, and it's important, and we want to make sure that your experience, no matter if we're closing it or if somebody else is a good experience for you, and then it goes through the way it needs to. And there are things that can happen. There are changes. I mean, the market right now we know is absolutely insane. I mean, it's insane. There's no other way to say that. It's insane. But
I like to call it a shit show, but insane's a good word.
It's been really interesting. I mean, there's so much going on that we're all like, what next? I mean, how are we gonna? But if you are looking to structure something different, you're not sure how to do it. I mean, we just recently did something. I know, Marie, we did something unique for other group that we're with. It was a different way to structure a deal that you were trying to work through. But there's an answer for it, and if we don't have the answer, we will find the answer for you. And then the beauty of that is we have a small company. So if there's a question that I can't answer and I need my chief title officer to answer that for me, I pick up the phone and I call her and she answers. If I need to involve the president of my company, I pick up the phone and he answers. I mean, we have a very tight-knit group, and we can literally walk around the corner and say, hey, can you look at this? And is there something that you can do to help?
Helena, do you offer investor rates?
Yes.
Yeah.
30%. Yes.
What about buyer and seller discounts?
Yes. If there's, we have a variety of different ones that we can do. A new one that we just had the other day that came through is the WISH program. Has anybody heard of that?
Yep. The what?
The WISH program? Okay. That was a new one for us. And that was somebody asked if we did the discounts for that. But first responder education, there's there's several that we can offer along with that for the buyers and sellers as well. If we can do it, we will.
Yeah.
Do you charge for mobile notary? Signings?
That I can't answer that because I don't know how they're structuring it right now with COVID. And I don't know if anybody else, Mia, have you done one outside with a mobile?
No, I think all of mine, well, I guess our last one, they did mobile notary, and I don't think they charged extra for it
Okay.
when it's under contract.
A lot of times they put it on.
Yeah, I would
and they don't
definitely
charge
check,
you.
and I can check with Eileen and ask her, but that's not, because I'm not on the escrow side, I would definitely have to ask her just to make sure I have the right answer for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even if I've seen, and I don't think I've seen it for you guys, but I know I have seen it on stuff that I've closed outside of you guys, but it's been, you know, $25 or something stupid.
Yeah, it's just, and like I said, with the way things have been the
Big
last year,
expense.
we had to do a lot of changes. So we couldn't.
Yeah, and that's the other
for-
thing. I think almost everyone has to do a mobile notary
Yeah.
at this point in time. So I think the fees for that has kind of gone out the window because otherwise they're not doing business because people didn't want to go in the office. So
We had one of our EOs do a closing where the people lived in an upstairs unit and they had a bucket that they sent down. The documents went in the bucket. They took them up to the top. They signed the papers, sent them back down. We did our stuff. Yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy things. But do what you need to do to make sure that everything gets closed.
Bucket signing.
Like what?
How much is
Bucket
the
signing. Yes.
the mobile notary right now?
They can take that off their bucket list. You know,
Mhm.
they've done a, yeah.
oh, dad joke.
Oh, I know.
All right, I'm not gonna make tonight go until 8 o'clock, by the way. I have some guests from out of town, but before we do sign off, I just want to know if anybody else has any questions for either Helena or Brian specific to what they can do as far as, I mean, obviously, you know, title and escrow services are usually pretty standard, except like Mia said, I would say they go above and beyond and they answer my call
you.
at, you know, 9 p.m. on a Saturday night when I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know why I'm calling you. It's 9 p.m. on a Saturday night, but I really just have a question. I'm sorry you're in the middle of watching a basketball game with your husband right now, but I'm going to ask you this question anyway. So seriously, Helena does answer the phone.
That was
I
funny.
think
What are you doing? Watching the game?
I do think they go above and beyond and provide exceptional service, but I mean, again, with the quality of cards that we've gotten, door hangers, so there's lots of different marketing materials, you know, open house flyers, anything like that. And then all of the services that they can offer as far as building these lists. You know, Liz and I have started to really take advantage of that and work with them. So I think it's very, very useful. So I got the information here that I will send you, Helena, on who wants what. Thank you.
Okay.
And
And in very unique situations, we can go on field trips as well. And I'll be a photographer. So
Oh, yes, they have come. Yeah, she has been a personal photographer for me and Liz while we're out on field trips. But yeah, so does anybody have any questions for Helena or Brian?
Thanks for the information, guys. I look forward to meeting with you.
oh, thank you.
Oh, you're
We're,
welcome.
we're looking forward to meeting with you all.
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
So much.
Straight back to hiding mode.
Definitely looking forward to get together again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
we're
We appreciate
definitely
you having
gonna-
us here.
Yeah, thank
no,
you so much.
Thank you. Janeth, we're gonna plan another get together at Brooke's house because they finished it now. So next week, guys, we're gonna be live at Brooke's property, Brooke and Bill's property.
Brooke and Bill.
I know, I just had to say Brooke and Bill, but Bill is finally in the corner over there.
Yeah, right.
And we're going to leave you.
All
Enjoy
right,
the rest of
thank
your
you
meeting.
so
We'll talk to
much.
everybody
Thank
soon.
you, Helena.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
You wanna
Bye,
think about
Brian. Thank
All right,
you.
guys. Yeah, so sorry I'm cutting this week short, but I hope
That's good.
everybody's doing
Good.
well. Enjoy your summer. Try and stay out of the heat. If you're in Arizona right now, we have triple digits all week long. So
Christian.
I
I
know.
will take triple
We do here too.
any day. Any day.
I know that humidity back east is horrible, right?
It was disgusting. I like died. I died. Like even the thought of going to Orlando right now, I'm just like, no. I zero desire. I got out of my car for the first time in Arizona and I took a breath, and that heat that burns your throat, I loved it. I was like, oh, this feels amazing. Arizona.
By the way, wait, I just did
Now we know what's wrong with you.
hot yoga for the first time the other day. It was amazing. Okay, hot yoga is amazing, by the way. And second of all, my husband joked though, and he was like, "Are you just gonna be doing yoga outside? Like, what do you mean hot yoga? Like you have to go inside a studio for that? I don't understand. Just go in the backyard and do some yoga." But it was amazing. It was at Hotworks, and they use infrared heat instead of steam.
Oh, my friend just quit working there.
I went to the one in Chandler, so I don't know which one your friends have, but
Chandler.
anyway. All right,
You
guys.
love it or you hate it. It's one or the other.
It's amazing.
All right.